Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Tony Bañuelos, and today's training is going to be about social media and branding. As we know, whether it's a network marketing business or really any kind of business, it's so very important these days to actually be able to leverage social media to actually increase your sales, also help you build your business online, especially after the pandemic, right? Many of us, don't necessarily gather in person, face to face. So really using social media has become an incredible tool for any business owner to be able to build their business. And today we're also going to lightly touch about branding. And when we're talking about branding, we're not talking about company branding. We're actually talking about your own personal brand as a human being, as an individual, when you're using social media. So let's jump right into it. And it's very important because when you use social media, it's such an amazing tool, especially if you're building a network marketing business, because you're able to reach hundreds, if not thousands of people that you would otherwise have never been able to reach out to. This is truly an incredible tool. So first, let's get started with this part. This is probably one of the most important parts. Which social media platform should you use, right, to help you build your business and kind of take it to the next level? We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have YouTube, we have Pinterest, we have TikToks, we have Reels. I mean, there's so many social media platforms out there, right? So the main thing you want to really focus on is either pick one or two max and become a professional at those. So again, pick one or pick two and become a pro. When I say become a pro, that means that you literally know the ins and outs of, let's say, Facebook, for example. You know how to use the Facebook groups. You know how to do attraction marketing. You know how to make any posts and be able to get customers for your business. You're able to recruit someone new that you didn't know from Facebook. So once you nail that down and you're seeing that success happening, those results, then it's perfect timing to then add a second social media platform, because once you add a second media platform, then you have twice the reach that you would have otherwise had. Me personally, I love Facebook. I started, I think, in 2008, 2009 using Facebook, and since then it's still my favorite social media platform. I love it because it's more of a community. You're able to connect with so many more people and create those relationships, which has really helped build your business. Me personally, my network marketing businesses, I've recruited 99.9% of the people I have recruited into any of the network marketing businesses that I have been in has been through Facebook, has been through social media. Very few have been actual in-person cold market type of recruitments. So when do you post, right? This is probably the most important part. Many of us have social media, but maybe we're not using it to the best of our advantage to be able to help us build our business, right? To be able to brand ourselves as well as leaders, as business owners, as entrepreneurs that could actually help other people, get to where they need to be, right? So the number one thing is, when do you post? It's very important to plan on doing at least one post every single day. One on Facebook, one on Instagram. It could be the same post, no problem. This morning, I personally did the same exact post on Facebook and also on Instagram. And it's important to post on at least two, right? Even if you only focus on one, because you're reaching different people on Instagram and different people on Facebook. Now, you could actually post 2 or 3 times per day. The more times, the better, but you also want to make sure it's quality content that you're posting. So the first post that you do in the morning, we always recommend to be between 7 and 8 a.m. in the morning. Why? Because typically after 7 or 8, people are getting on with their day. If they have a regular job, they're going to work. If they go to school, they're going to school. They get on with their day and they get busy. However, most people tend to check their social media right when they wake up, after they get ready for the day, but before they actually get started with their day, right? So this is when you're going to see the most engagement on your post, between 7 and 8 a.m., your time zone, wherever you're located. Me personally, I always make a post around 7:45, the latest. I've noticed when I post between 8 and 9 a.m., I just don't get the same engagement I would have otherwise. You could maybe post in the afternoon, right? That could be your second post, and your third post could probably be after dinner. Definitely in the evening, after people have enjoyed their dinner, they're done with their day, they're unwinding, right? That's when people are going to be on their social media platforms. Now, before you post ever, the most important step you want to take is the following. You want to take a couple minutes and go through your Facebook wall, through your Instagram. Let's focus on Facebook, right? Facebook is an amazing tool, and I think most of us have Facebook. You want to go and like different posts on your wall from other people.
I even send my
or love. Me personally, I love to show hearts on posts. Why? Because if you love posts, that your love is going to stand out versus somebody that liked their post. You also want to comment on posts before you make your post. Why? Because by you commenting on other people's posts before you make your own personal post that morning, you're telling Facebook, hey, Facebook, I'm online, I'm interacting, I'm being active. So what happens after you do your post, that's going to trigger that more people are actually going to see your post, because Facebook knows that you have your Facebook open and you're interacting with others. So in exchange, when you post something, they're going to show it to more people, more of your friends on their wall, because they know you're actually able to interact at the moment. And that's what Facebook wants you to do. Facebook wants its members to be interacting, be commenting back and forth, versus just putting any post out there and that it doesn't have any engagement. So that's very important. Now, what is it that you want to post, right? You know when to post, but what do I post? It's super simple. Simply follow an 80-20 rule. What does that mean? 80% of your posts, which is 4 out of 5 posts per week, per day, whatever it might be, you want to make it personal. You want to make it to do nothing, absolutely nothing to do with your business, nothing to do with your products, your services. It simply has to be personal. It could be a photo of you, what you're doing this morning. Me, for example, this morning, I took a picture outside of the gym, right? It's a personal post. People are getting to know you, and that's the most important part, because you start building those relationships. You want to be genuine, right? And that simply means you're being yourself. You're being yourself. You want to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable on social media is huge. It's huge. You start creating friends, followers, you start building those relationships. Why? Because none of us have a perfect day. None of us have a perfect day. None of us have an amazing life every single day, right? None of us are happy every minute, every second, every hour of the day. So when you're vulnerable, people actually connect with you more, because you're being real, you're being genuine. And that's when you start creating authentic relationships with people and Facebook members that otherwise would have probably never had that connection with you, right? Of course, you always want to be inspiring, right? Somebody's always having a better day than somebody else. And likewise, somebody's probably not having as good of a day as you are. So if you post something that's simply inspiring, or just wishing everybody to have an amazing day today, believe me, there's going to be someone on your Facebook that's going to look at that post, and that's exactly what they were looking for that day or that morning, because maybe they were a little bit down, right? So then they connect with you because you inspire them. You want to be fun. Everybody likes to have fun and see funny things online, so it's good, to here and there throw and post something that's, funny, just to make people laugh. Earlier this week I posted something about, when gas, goes to $5 per gallon, and I had like a lock on the gas tank. It's something funny, humorous, realistic, that people could actually connect with, right? And it's always good to, when you do funny posts or something fun, to be something relevant, something that's really happening, in today's day in society. You want to give value. This is probably a very important one. This one's more linked to you gaining that following, building those relationships with people that you want them to see what you're doing at a business level. So for example, when you share something of value, it could be, how to be productive in the morning, how to juggle different things throughout the day, something, anything that works for you, that you could give a tip to somebody else and that they could take and apply to their lives. That's something of value. That's something they learned from you. It could be little tips. It could be little tricks, anything. It could be, and selfies. Selfies is huge, huge, huge. I know we have Hamida on the call right now, and she does an amazing job with this. You always, 80% of the time, you want to put a picture of yourself when you make a post. To me, this was probably not as easy, right? Because I didn't want to be posting my picture on every single post I was making online. right? I'm like, I don't want it to be about me, right? I'm not that kind of person. However, what happens is when you post a picture of yourself and then you put some type of message, if you're being genuine, or maybe a post of being vulnerable, something inspiring, fun, or something of value, and there's a picture, a selfie of you attached to it, people are going to quickly connect with you, that instinct, because they're connecting that message to you. Versus if it was just a message with no graphics or a picture of something else rather than you, they're going to see that you posted it, but they're not going to necessarily make that strong connection with you. And that starts going into the branding aspect of you, right? People are not connecting to your business or to your product or what you do. People are connecting with you. So they start following you versus everything else. So selfies are huge, huge, huge. Now let's move on to Facebook and or Instagram stories. These are huge. Have been having a huge success because it's almost like indirect marketing online, right? When we post something on Facebook or Instagram, for example, on our wall, that's direct marketing, right? You're putting that message out there and it's intentional that you want all of your friends to see it. However, when you post on Facebook or Instagram stories, that's indirect because people have the option to see it or not see it, right? To look at your stories or not see them. So this is perfect way to post about your business, to post about the products or services that you offer, because you're not necessarily pushing it on people's face, right? They're looking at it because they're the ones browsing through stories. Whether you use Facebook or Instagram, I always recommend to have an account active with both, because with the stories, if you post a story on Instagram and you connect your Instagram account to your Facebook, what happens is that the same story that you posted on Instagram will also appear on your stories on Facebook, which means that you're going to reach twice as many people that way. And again, the 80-20 rule, when you do stories, you want it to be 80% personal, 20% about your business or your product, right? So let's say you post 5 stories per day. Make four of them personal, make one of them about your business or your product. Typically, it's great to have 5 to 10 ongoing stories at a time. And if you haven't done stories before, when you post a story, it's only up for 24 hours. So 24 hours after you posted it, it automatically comes down. So that's why I love about stories, because you can pretty much share a lot of information, anything, and you don't have to worry that's going to be there forever, right? It comes down automatically after 24 hours. Me, the little trick I have, usually every evening, I'll post 3 to 5 posts on my stories, because then those will be up a whole 24 hours until the following evening, which is when then I could post more. I'll post what I'm having for dinner. I'll post, if I went to the gym with an inspirational message, it could be different things. And here and there, I'll post about the product or service that I offer. You could also, a little bit more advanced on stories, you could add polls, you could add animation, right, like GIFs. You could add music to them, which make them more entertaining, which means more people will actually be watching it for longer. And a big trick with using stories is also doing behind the scenes stories. What this means is it could be you working on your business. It could be a selfie or a quick recording of you working on your business. For example, right now that we're on this Zoom live, right? I could probably be doing a selfie, or I could probably do a 5-minute recording that we're on a team Zoom training. And people love that because they're actually seeing you in action. They're seeing how you're building your business, how you're working your business. They see the culture. They get an idea, right? What it actually is like to build an online business. And they get inspired by that, because many times people don't understand, or they don't see how is it that what we're doing, right? To build a business. They think we're just like, offering product or services or business opportunities to people with videos and that's it, right? But they don't see the fun part. They don't see how we connect. We have trainings, coaching calls, everything. It could be a presentation. What else? And again, another great trick with this. When you actually browse through Facebook or Instagram stories of your friends, that's an easy way to connect with people and start conversations that have nothing to do about business. Why? Because they posted a story, you're checking their story, and you're responding to the story. It could be maybe that they're out hiking or they're at the beach, and you're like, wow, that looks amazing. You want to be genuine. Of course, you want to be real with them, when you respond or comment on their stories. But what that does is that starts a conversation with somebody new that maybe otherwise you weren't sure, or you would have never started a conversation with that person, right? Because sometimes it's not as easy just to get on Messenger and start messaging, your Facebook friends without knowing exactly what you're going to talk about. But when you comment on their stories, they're the ones that technically initiated that conversation, right? Because they shared something on their stories. You're simply responding after you saw it, and then you start a very casual, everyday kind of conversation. And from there, obviously, you take it on, little by little, to maybe, hopefully, it'll be an opportunity where you could share your business, your opportunity, your product, whatever it might be. Perfect. So those were little tips on social media. We're going to touch a little bit also on building your personal brand, right? After you understand, what your, how to make posts, how to kind of manage all of that aspect, right, of social media. Another advanced aspect of it is building your personal brand, right? People love people for who they are. People don't necessarily follow or join companies. They don't necessarily want to be sold products or services. We all love to buy. We all love to buy, but none of us like to be sold, right? So that's when personal branding comes in, right? Because people start being your fan. They start following you. They're inspired by you. They look forward to your posts. They know what you're about. So when you're thinking of personal brand, you want to think about it like people looking forward to what you have to say, what you have to share. When they think of your name, what are they thinking about when they think of you or your name, right? What are they connecting it with? Are they connecting it with somebody successful, an entrepreneur, an amazing network marketer, online marketer, social media marketer, somebody that knows, about health and wellness, somebody that has, leadership knowledge, tips and tricks? Do they look up to you as an online virtual mentor, perhaps? That's so common nowadays, right? We have so many mentors online now. So the following questions come to mind when we think about branding, and these are kind of questions that you want to ask yourself, because then the answers to these questions is what you should be focusing on when you create content and posts on social media, because then you could leverage your own personal brand to create relationships online, and then that opens the door to sharing your product, your service, your opportunity. So first question, how do you present yourself? How do you present yourself? When you take a selfie and you post it on Facebook, or if you go on Facebook Live, or maybe you're on a Zoom like we are right now, how are you presenting yourself? For example, right now I'm wearing a blue polo shirt. I did that intentionally. I just didn't grab any shirt, and you probably noticed that by now. I don't like wearing long sleeve shirts because it's not my style. It's too uncomfortable for me, and I live somewhere where it's typically warm. I love polos. I love short sleeves. I mean, I love tank tops too, but tank top would not be professional. But I love polos because it looks professional, it looks casual, but it still doesn't look too serious, right? And I love bright colors. I love bright colors because it makes you happy, right? So how do you present yourself to the world? How does the world see you? How does the world see you? If they didn't know you, you become friends for the first time on Facebook or Instagram. How are they seeing you after they see your profile picture, your images that you're posting of yourself? Are they seeing you as someone who's casual? Are they seeing you as someone, wow, this person dresses nice? I could relate with this person, They don't overdress, but they dress fun, they dress clean, they're always groomed. They seem professional, the way they present themselves. What do you share and talk about on social media, right? There's so many things that we could be sharing on social media. I mean, there's just so much, right? I mean, I always try to edit myself because sometimes too many things come to my mind. But the problem is we shouldn't be sharing everything that comes to our mind, because then we're confusing people. So we want to make sure we're sharing things, again, of value. Things are in line with the person that we want to be, seen as. Me, I post a lot about health and fitness. Why? Because that's one of my passions. I love to be healthy. I love to work out. I love to run. So I decided to kind of use that as part of my branding, And when people think of me, they think of somebody healthy, somebody that works out. And guess what? That's also aligned with the product I offer through my business, right? Health and wellness. So it makes that connection. Ask yourself, what makes you unique? This is probably my favorite one, right? When you're building your personal brand, right, of your name, right? You're not a company, you're your own human being. It doesn't matter what company you're representing. It could be more than one, perhaps. But how are you unique, right? No human being is exactly the same in this world. Sometimes we go out there, right, and we try to mimic or do exactly what other mentors or leaders are doing online. But the problem is that we're not them. We'll never be them. They'll never be us. So what makes you unique? Me, for example, I'm a pretty reserved person, right? If I wanted to be funny on these Zooms, as you probably know by now, it's not easy for me to be funny. I could be funny here and there occasionally, but I have to be in the mood. But what makes me unique is my charisma, my enthusiasm. That comes to me naturally, organically. So that's what I always try to portray online. If you notice, I always smile. I'm always laughing. I'm always, kind of like, excited, but genuinely excited. What makes you different, right? First, what makes you unique? How are you different? What being unique and different is two different things. What makes you unique, right? What is something that you have that not everybody necessarily has? That one trait, that one characteristic. Also, what makes you different? What makes you different? For me, I'm saying about me so I could show you kind of examples, so hopefully that helps you. What makes me different is I'm very detail oriented. I love images. If you could notice the PowerPoint I prepared for this training. So that's what makes me different. I like to be concise, detailed, clean, crisp. What do you love? That was the example I provided you earlier. I'm into health and wellness and fitness, exercising, personal development, growth, mindset. Like those are all things I genuinely love. So that's what I use when I post on social media. I focus on that. I focus on inspirational, motivational, empowerment, working out, eating healthy, enjoying nature, because those are things I generally love. And what happens is you start attracting people that are also attracted to similar things than you. And what that creates, it creates a genuine and real online relationship, which could then open the door to sharing each other's business opportunity, product or service, whatever it might be. But the goal is building that relationship. And these are the things that you kind of want to focus on to building your personal brand, right? To make sure you don't confuse people. And of course, again, backstage pass to your life. Before I mentioned, a backstage pass to your business through your stories, right? So you could show people what you're doing, how you're building your business, when you're sharing products, things like that. Backstage pass to your life. This is you living your personal life. This is you enjoying your life. Are you going to the beach? Are you going here or there? At home, watching a movie. At home, cooking dinner. It could be cleaning. It could be your dogs, your cats, whatever it might be. These are aspects of your life that are perhaps a little bit more private and personal. But what that does is it helps people to really get to know you for who you are as a human being at the end of the day. And that's the strongest connection you could ever make with anyone in this world, is when they could literally see what you do every day, outside of what you might be doing on social media, outside of you building your business, outside of you sharing your product or your services. And to conclude this part, I want to kind of close with this, because this is probably a very important part. Some of you may have heard this, and it's so true, especially now these days. People buy a product or service, whatever you offer, and do business with people that they know, like, and trust. That's why it's so important to really make sure that you're using social media and you don't allow social media to use you, because you want to have control of what you're putting out there, how you're connecting with people, because you want people to get to know you. And after they get to know you a little bit, right, based on your posts, based on your comments on their posts, they start to like you. Like, yeah, I really like this person because they already know you, right? Because of what you've been posting, they've been following you for a while. You post inspirational things. You're genuine. You're vulnerable. You show backstage past your life. They see what you're doing behind the scenes, the things that we often don't see from other people. So they start liking you. They look forward to your posts. And guess what happens? After they know you, after they like you, they develop a genuine trust for you and for you, what you have to offer as a friend, as a human being. And guess what? That's when they open up to listening and hearing you sharing your business, your opportunity, your product, or your service because they trust you. They trust you. And this doesn't happen from one day to the next. It could take weeks, it could take months, it could take years, right? Everybody's different. But the key point is to be intentional. To be intentional when you use social media. Me, for example, on Instagram, I only post on social media. On Instagram, I never browse. Very, very rarely I'm browsing through Instagram because I'm using Instagram. I'm not letting Instagram use me and take up my valuable time. So my intention is to put content out there that people will see versus me necessarily looking at other people's content. Same with Facebook. Be intentional. Every morning we all at one point open Facebook. Are you browsing Facebook? Or are you posting on Facebook in the morning? Your goal should always be when you first open Facebook every day, when you first open it, whenever that might be, that you're going to be posting something of value for the people that you have on your Facebook that are following you, that are your friends. That should be your number one goal. After you post something of value, amazing, perfect. Then you could go and start browsing through your wall, right? But we never want to get caught up and just browsing and browsing and browsing because that's taking our time, and social media is using us instead of us using social media. And with millions and millions of people being on social media, we want to have that control. So that's why it's so important to focus on posting versus viewing other people's posts first, right? And I'll close with this. This is by Fraser Brooks. I love what he said. He said, "You'll never be known for anything if you talk about everything." Again, you'll never be known for anything if you talk about everything. This is so amazing. I love this. This is so true. And that simply means, don't go out there and be posting about, multiple businesses, different products, about maybe you're posting about crypto, how to cook, about politics, about pollution, about health, about, government issues. There's so many things we could be posting about, right? Every single day. We live in such busy lives, all over the world. So it simply goes back to being intentional, and for your messages, whatever you're posting, to be clear and concise and having control of the information you're putting out there, because you want to make sure you're attracting the correct people and not confusing them if you're posting about so many different things. Again, back to the example, that's why typically my post, I focus on, it's either fitness, working out, running, something to do with health. I post sometimes what I'm cooking or having for dinner, right? Which is also in line with health and wellness. I post a lot about nature because I love nature, and a lot about inspirational, motivational, empowerment, mindset type of posts, right? So it's clear and concise. It's simple. It's not too busy. It's not too many different things that I'm posting. So remember, you'll never be known for anything if you talk about everything. So make sure you're using social media. Don't let social media use you, and really use this to take your business to the next level, leveraging social media.